2 days down, 2 to go at SEC Media Days, and today is King Day. Nick Saban will be speaking with reporters and writers, and so will former pupil Jimbo Fisher. Crimson Tide handed the Aggies their only loss of the season in 2020, and Saban continues to have the bragging rights over his former assistant. 4-0 against Jimbo Fisher. A points margin per game of more than 3 touchdowns, 21.5. But don't worry, Jimbo's not alone. In terms of Nick Saban against former assistants as an Alabama coach, he is undefeated, never lost. 23-0 record against his former assistants in Tuscaloosa, and he has won those 23 games by an average, again, more than 3 touchdowns, 23.5. All right, we've got our guys at SEC Media Days, Dennis Dodd and Barrett Sallee. And guys, we got to talk about Nick Saban. He's going to be speaking today. And there's really a thought here, because there are middle school kids and high school kids that only know Nick Saban at Alabama and the success that he has had. My question to you is, will the conference be where it is today without Nick Saban? How much credit does he get for where we are today? Doddfather, I'll start with you.
Yeah, I don't know if it would be where it is today. I mean, we're talking about multiple championships since really 2006 when Florida started the run. What you're saying is that SEC teams would have won those championships regardless. Yeah, I think Georgia would have won in 2017 had Nick not been there. We know they lost in overtime. Maybe Notre Dame is in there in one of those playoff games. Certainly Clemson may have won 1 or 2 more. But I don't know if it's in the same place. It certainly would have been dominant, but Alabama has defined the SEC since he's been there. When you talk about 6 championships since 2009, I think he acquired those in 6 years quicker than what Bear Bryant did when he was there. So, yeah, a great conference. I don't know if it'd be where it is now.
See, I disagree. I think it absolutely would, because you look at kingmakers. Nick Saban has been the king. He also drove Urban Meyer out. Urban Meyer might still be in the SEC had Nick Saban not been in Alabama. Look at the teams that have won national championships. You mentioned Georgia probably would have won in 2017, probably would have won in 2012. Auburn has one. LSU has one. Florida obviously was the dynasty before Nick Saban got here and really tailed off once he did get there. But so I think when you look at the SEC, yeah, Nick Saban has defined the conference, but really what's defined the conference is the talent in the southeast region of the United States.
Right.
Nick Saban gets all the talent now, but if he didn't get it, Kirby Smart would have. Urban Meyer might have it when he was at Florida. Who knows what would have happened at Auburn and LSU? So I completely disagree. I think the conference would be exactly where it is right now. There just might be a different king.
Well, the new king could be Jimbo Fisher, guys. Best year at Texas A&M is what he's coming off of. The only loss, as I mentioned, to the Crimson Tide. Barrett, I'll give you first word this time. The expectations for this year, are they unfairly inflated based on last year's performance?
Yeah, I think they are unfair, because when you look at what Jimbo Fisher has done, I've talked to a lot of college coaches and scouts about Jimbo Fisher's system, ultra complicated for the quarterback. And you have a quarterback, whether it be Haynes King or Zach Calzada, never taken a meaningful snap, and it'll be behind an offensive line that replaces 4 of 5 starters. Now, the one starter returning, Kenyon Green, is one of the best in the country. But when you're asking a quarterback to go through all of the things, the pro-style decision-making that Jimbo Fisher asks him to do behind a essentially brand new offensive line, I don't care how good your running back core is, it's going to be a challenge. So in my opinion, I think we'll look back at this year for Texas A&M and think, man, we missed Kellen Mond a little bit, because he was really good the last few years as Texas A&M's quarterback. So, yeah, I think it's a little too soon for Texas A&M this year. I think they take a step back. In fact, I think LSU is the primary threat to Alabama in the SEC West.
Yeah, I think they take a step back, but I also think they've turned the corner, if that makes any sense at all. When you go 9-1 in that 3rd year during COVID and contend for a playoff spot, and shepherd Kellen Mond, the career passing leader at Texas A&M. And this year they've got DeMarvin Leal, they've got Kenyon Green, 2 All-Americans in the line. And look, I know the quarterback problems, but Jimbo is a quarterback maker. He's one of the best ones in the country. They're not going to win the West. I think the best they can hope for is 2nd place. But I think everybody knows that. I think that's still turning the corner. And for $75 million over 10 years, that's what overshadows all of this conversation. They got off of Jimbo's back last year when he went 9-1. I think he can go 9-3 this year, and everything's on track because they know they're still developing a quarterback.
Yeah. It's interesting that contract hangs over him. By the way, that Bama game, October 9th at Kyle Field. in College Station. All right, guys, let's wrap things up with Mike Leach. Always good for a quote or two. Hail State, there are some expectations for him. What are they, Dennis?
The expectations are just to improve. I thought the SEC caught on at his 2 previous stops. Yeah, he was great in year 2 and then played well in conferences, not as good as the SEC. The SEC caught on after that LSU game. They started dropping 7, dropping 8. And you know what you can do with SEC athletes in the secondary? You can drop and cover zone, but you can also cover one-on-one.
Yeah.
You know, that's what these athletes in the Big 12 and the Pac-12 couldn't do. And that's going to continue. So if he finds the quarterback this year, and that's Will Rogers probably, they're going to have to produce more. And the defense was absolutely awful. He's not known for his defenses. 25 turnovers last year, guys. 84 points resulting from those turnovers. The 34 sacks led the SEC. Before we even talk about whether the air raid works in the SEC for Mike Leach, got to fix the defense.
Yeah, I don't think it's going to work for Mike Leach in the SEC, to be honest with you, because like you said, he refuses to make adjustments. That's Mike Leach's MO. His way works, and it's his way or the highway. And we saw that last year after they beat LSU. It was like everything fell apart. The guy, KJ Costello, who broke the single game record for passing, was the backup quarterback by week 4. That's how different this team looks. The SEC is caught on. They don't have the size and speed and strength at the line of scrimmage on either side of the ball, and when you're going up against, like you said, defensive secondaries that are fast and physical and can keep all those wide receivers in front of them, it's going to be lights out because, again, Mike Leach just simply won't adjust to what the SEC defenses are bringing to the table.
Totally agree.
And we saw that in the first year, 4-7 with a bowl win and the over-under at William Hill. For this season, gentlemen, 6 wins for Hail State. Appreciate Barrett Sallee and Dennis Dodd at SEC Media Days. Our friend Doug Bell is also there. Again, it's going to be Nick Saban, Mike Leach, Jimbo Fisher, as well as Vandy coach Clark Lee today. Then on the final day, as we take a look at the Cover 3 podcast and follow those guys who'll have you covered as well, Sam Pittman at Arkansas, Brian Harsin at Auburn, and Eli Drinkwitz at Missouri. The guys will be discussing the stuff tomorrow, today on the Cover 3 pod.
Do you want a sports network that delivers everything that matters about the game? The highlights, the picks, the instant analysis, no yelling, no fake debates, no politics. Hit the subscribe button and never miss a moment.